1. Introduction. My name is Jess. I am 26 years old. I work as an assistant in a big company. Every morning I wake up early. I make my coffee and choose my clothes carefully. I always want to look good for work. I try to appear confident and calm. But there is one special reason why I go to work with a smile every day. This reason is a person. His name is Greg. Greg is my boss. He is tall and handsome. He always seems calm, even when work is busy. He speaks with confidence. When he looks at me, my heart beats very fast. Everyone at the company respects him. I understand why. He is smart and kind. He never loses control. I wish he looked at me the same way I look at him, but he does not. He only sees me as his employee. Still, every time he says my name, I feel something special. Every time he says, "Good job, Jess," I feel like I am the most important woman in the world. I know it is wrong to have strong feelings for my boss. It is a secret, but I cannot stop myself. I tell myself to focus only on my job. I try to think about my tasks, but my heart has other plans. It wants to think about Greg. These feelings make my work life exciting. Even simple tasks feel important because he is there. I watch him in meetings. I listen to his voice when he talks. Sometimes our eyes meet. In those moments, I feel a rush of warmth. I know it is wrong to have these feelings for him. He is my boss, and I am his assistant. There should be a clear line, but my heart does not follow these rules. It has chosen Greg. I keep my feelings a secret from everyone. My friends do not know. My coworkers do not know. Greg certainly does not know about my crush. This secret makes my days at work interesting. It adds a hidden story to my routine. I enjoy the small moments I have with him. I like the way he smiles, walks, and thinks. I know this situation is not ideal. It could cause problems, but for now, my secret crush on Greg makes my work life exciting. It is a feeling I cannot easily forget, even though I know it is wrong. 2. Small tricks, big feelings. I started to do small things for Greg. I hoped he would notice me more. I wanted him to see me as more than just an employee. Sometimes I stayed at work for a long time. I would finish my reports late, even when I did not need to. This way, Greg would see me still working. He often stayed late too. When he saw me, he would nod and smile. It made my heart feel happy. I also started to bring him coffee. I knew exactly how he liked it. It was always black with no sugar. I put the warm cup on his desk when he was busy. He always gave me a nice smile and said, "Thank you, Jess." Sometimes I made my lunch at home. It was special food. I often shared some of it with Greg. He always took a small piece. He said my food was very good, but his eyes did not show more than friendly thanks. He only saw me as his assistant, and that made me a little sad. I tried other things too. I started to wear more perfume. I made sure my hair looked very good every day. I also tried to make him laugh. I told small jokes in the office. My friends knew about my feelings. They told me I was crazy. "He is your boss, Jess," they said. "It is a bad idea." But they did not understand how I felt. They did not see him like I did. When Greg laughed, the sound made the whole office feel warm and happy. It was a good sound, and I loved to hear it. One evening, it was very late. Everyone else went home. Only Greg and I were left in the office. The city lights shone brightly outside the big windows. He was sitting at his big desk. He was reading some important papers. His face looked serious. I stood by the window. I pretended to look outside at the tall buildings. But really, I was watching Greg. I watched him work. I hoped he would turn and look at me. I wanted him to feel something special for me, but he just kept reading. He did not look up. He did not see me in that way. I stood there for a long time. The office was quiet. I felt a mix of hope and sadness. I knew I could not wait forever. I could not keep doing these small tricks and hoping for a sign. It was time for a big change. That night, I made a big decision. I could not wait anymore. I would tell him how I felt. I would tell Greg everything. I knew it was a big risk, but I had to do it. My feelings were too strong to keep them secret any longer. I would finally speak the truth. 3. The confession. Friday evening came. The office was quiet. All the other workers had gone home. Only Jess and Greg were left. Outside, the city lights began to shine brightly through the tall windows. Jess felt her heart beating very fast. This was the moment she had waited for. She took a deep breath, trying to be brave. Jess walked slowly to Greg's office door. It was open a little. She could see him sitting at his big desk. He was looking at some important papers. She pushed the door gently and stepped inside the room. Greg looked up from his work. He seemed a little surprised to see her still there. "Jess, are you still here?" he asked. His voice was calm and steady, as it always was. "Yes," Jess said quietly. Her voice was almost a whisper. She felt her hands shaking slightly. She quickly put them behind her back so he would not notice. This was much harder than she had thought. She had practiced these words many times in her mind, but now they felt heavy and difficult to say. She looked at him directly. His eyes were kind. She knew she had to say it now before she lost her courage. "Greg, I like you," she managed to say. She stopped for a moment, her breath catching. "I know you are my boss, but I really had to tell you how I feel." Greg looked at her for a moment. He sighed softly. He leaned back in his office chair. "Jess," he said, his voice kind and gentle, "you are a wonderful person. You are a good and hard-working employee." He paused. Jess waited, her heart hoping for some good news. Then he spoke again, and his next words were clear. "But I have a girlfriend." His words hit her like a sudden, cold rain. Jess felt her happy feelings disappear very quickly. A sharp, painful ache came to her heart. She tried to smile. She tried to look strong and okay. She did not want him to see her deep sadness. "Oh," she said. Her voice was quiet, but now it sounded a little broken. "I understand, of course." She nodded her head quickly. She turned around fast. She did not want him to see the tears that were already beginning to fill her eyes. She walked out of his office and out of the building as fast as her legs could carry her. That night, Jess was in her bed. Tears fell freely from her eyes and onto her pillow. She felt very foolish for what she had done. She felt small and unimportant. She had made a big mistake. She had told her boss she liked him and he had a girlfriend. It was a very bad idea. She cried for a long time until her eyes were tired. She made a promise to herself that night. She promised she would forget Greg. It would be very hard work, she knew. But she would try her very best to forget him and focus only on her job. For the breakup, 2 months passed. Jess tried hard to forget Greg. She focused on her job. She came to the office early and left late. She talked to friends, read books, and went to the gym. She wanted to remove him from her thoughts. Every day she told herself, he is just your boss. She worked hard, kept quiet, and tried not to think about him. It was not easy, but she felt stronger. Then, one morning, everything changed. Greg came to the office looking very different. He was sad. His face was tired and his eyes were red. He looked broken. Jess had never seen him like this. The strong man she knew seemed gone. He walked past her desk without a smile. He went straight into his office and closed the door. This was very unusual. Later that morning, Greg called Jess into his office. His voice was quiet. "Jess," he said, "can we talk?" Jess nodded and sat down. He looked at his hands first, then up. His eyes were full of pain. He told her his girlfriend had cheated on him. Jess did not know what to say. She just sat and listened. He looked very lost, like a child. The confident boss she admired was not there now. Jess felt very sorry for him. "I'm sorry, Greg," she said softly. "You did not deserve that." He looked at her with sad eyes. "Thank you, Jess," he whispered. His voice was low. Then something happened fast. He stood up from his chair. He walked around his desk and came closer to Jess. He stood in front of her. Then he kissed her. It was a sudden kiss. Jess's heart stopped for a moment. The whole world disappeared. She closed her eyes. She kissed him back. For a short moment, it felt like everything she had ever wanted was real. But then the kiss ended. Greg slowly moved back. Jess opened her eyes. She looked at his face, then into his eyes. She saw it clearly. There was no love there. There was only pain. His kiss came from his sadness, from his hurt. It was not a kiss of real love for her. It was a kiss from a broken heart looking for comfort. Jess understood this very clearly. Her heart felt heavy again. 5 The distance, I stepped back from Greg. My heart was still beating fast, but my mind was clear. I looked at him. His eyes held sadness, not love. This was not the kiss I had dreamed of. This kiss came from pain. "Greg," I said, my voice quiet but firm, "you kissed me because you are hurt. Your girlfriend just broke your heart. This kiss is not about me. It is about your sadness." He looked surprised. He opened his mouth to speak. "No, Jess, that is not true," he began, but I did not let him finish. I shook my head. "I cannot be a distraction for you," I told him. "I cannot be the person you use to forget your pain." My hands were shaking, but I tried to stay strong. I knew this was the right thing to do. I needed to protect my own heart. I turned and walked out of his office, leaving him alone. After that night, work felt very strange. The office was quiet between us. We did not talk much. When we did, our words were short and formal. It was a big change from before. Greg tried to speak to me sometimes. He would come to my desk and ask about my work, but his eyes always held a question. He wanted to talk about that night. I did not. He started sending me messages. "Can we talk?" one message said. Another asked, "Are you free for coffee after work?" He asked many times. He wanted to meet outside the office. He wanted to explain things, but I always said no. I told him I was busy. I said I had other plans. It was hard to say no to him. Every time my phone rang, I hoped it was him. But every time he asked, I remembered why I had to say no. A part of me wanted to run back to him. My heart still felt a strong pull. I had liked him for a long time. I had dreamed of his kiss. But now, the dream felt broken. I needed to be sure his feelings were real. I did not want to be a comfort for his heartbreak or a quick fix. I wanted true love, not a temporary distraction. I needed him to be sure, not just lonely. So I kept my distance. It was difficult, but I knew it was important for both of us. We both needed time to heal, to think, and to understand our true feelings. I stayed away, waiting for him to show me something more than pain. 6. The chase. Greg did not give up. He truly wanted to show Jess his feelings were real. He knew she needed time and proof. So he started waiting for her after work. Every day, Jess felt a mix of surprise and worry when she saw him. She tried to ignore him, but his presence was strong. One evening, Jess walked out of the office building. It was getting dark. She saw Greg standing near her car, just like before. He looked at her with hope in his eyes. "Jess," he said softly, his voice full of feeling. "Please, I miss you. I cannot stop thinking about you." Jess crossed her arms. She tried to seem calm, but her heart beat fast. "You should go home, Greg," she said. She wanted to believe him, but she was still careful. She did not want to be hurt again. Greg shook his head slowly. "No," he replied. "You were right, Jess. That kiss, I was lost then. My heart was broken. But after you walked away, I understood something important. I realized I do not just want someone to help me forget. I want you. Only you. Jess listened to his words. A small part of her wanted to run to him, but she remembered the pain of the past weeks. She needed to be sure. She did not say anything. She just turned and started to walk away towards her car. Greg followed her slowly, keeping a small distance. He did not try to stop her, but he also did not leave. After that day, Greg did not stop trying. He found new, small ways to show Jess he truly cared for her. He was patient. He did not rush her. Every morning, he brought her a cup of hot coffee, just the way she liked it. He left it on her desk before she even arrived. When Jess had difficult projects, he offered his help. He sat with her and explained things clearly. He made sure she understood everything. He did not act like her boss. He acted like a true friend. One afternoon, it started to rain heavily. Jess's old umbrella broke, and she had no way to stay dry. She was ready to run to her car. But when she stepped outside, Greg was waiting. He held a big umbrella over her head. He walked her all the way to her car, making sure she did not get wet. He did not say much, just smiled. These little actions slowly started to change Jess's feelings. Her heart, which had been so careful and closed, began to soften again. She started to see that Greg was serious. He was not just looking for comfort. He was looking for her. She still had doubts, but they were getting smaller every day. Greg's patience and his constant care were slowly breaking down her walls. She realized he was fighting for her, and that meant a lot. 7. The yes. Greg invited me to dinner one evening. He said it would be no work talk, and he smiled when he said it. I thought about it for a moment. He had been trying for some time. He had waited for me after work. He had brought me coffee. He had shown me he cared. My heart had started to feel soft again, so I finally said yes to his invitation. We chose a quiet restaurant. It was near a beautiful lake. When I arrived, Greg was already there. He stood up when he saw me. He looked a little nervous, which was new for him. The restaurant had soft lights, and the air felt warm and comfortable. It was a perfect place for a first real date. We sat down at a table. We talked about small things at first, not work. Then Greg became serious. He looked directly into my eyes. "Jess," he began, his voice a little low, "you have changed me. You made me understand what true love really is. Before, I was like a blind person. I did not see clearly. But now I know what I want in my life." I listened to his words carefully. I looked into his eyes and I saw something important there. I saw honesty. I saw that he meant what he said. My heart felt very full in that moment. I had waited for this for a long time. I smiled at him, a real smile this time. "Then stop talking," I told him gently, "and show me." He laughed, a happy sound. He reached across the table and took my hand. His hand was warm and strong. We stayed there for a long time, just talking and holding hands. It felt like a new start for both of us. Later, Greg drove me home. When we stopped, he leaned closer. He kissed me again. This kiss was different from the one before. That first kiss was full of pain, a way for him to forget his sadness. But this kiss was not about forgetting anyone. This kiss was about us. It was about remembering our new beginning. It was soft and full of hope. From that evening on, our relationship officially began. We were together. It felt right and good. My journey with Greg had moved from a secret crush to a real connection. I was happy that I had waited for him to truly see me. 8. The engagement. Many months passed. Jess and Greg were happy together. They loved spending time outside of work. At the office, they kept their relationship a secret. It was their own world. Every smile, every touch, every glance was theirs alone. Their feelings grew stronger each day. One day, after a long meeting, Greg asked Jess to go for a walk. Jess agreed. They went to the lake, the same place where they had their first dinner. It was a special spot. The sun was setting. Its light made the sky look beautiful, painted in gold and orange. It was a perfect evening. Greg stopped and took Jess's hand. He looked at her with love. He spoke softly. "Jess," he said, "you started as my best employee. Then you became my reason to smile every day. You make my life better. I cannot imagine my life without you." Jess listened. Her heart beat fast. She felt happy. Greg then surprised her. He got down on one knee by the lake. He took out a small box. He opened it. Inside was a simple, beautiful ring. The stone shone in the last sunlight. Greg looked up at Jess. His eyes were full of hope and love. He asked, "Will you marry me, Jess?" Tears came to Jess's eyes. They were tears of joy. She did not need to think. She knew her answer. Her voice was a whisper full of certainty. "Yes," she said. "Yes, I will marry you." He stood up. He put the ring on her finger. It fit perfectly. He held her close. They kissed. The kiss was long and full of love. As they kissed, the sun disappeared behind the water. It was the start of their new future. Jess often thought about that time. She smiled when she remembered. She had tried to get her boss's attention, but in the end, she did more. She made him fall in love. Now they would spend their lives together. It was a wonderful story.